Hi, it's Kag at the Treehouse with another Tarot Tiny. Our first card this morning is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands can be resistance to some kind of peer pressure. It can also be standing up for yourself. And many times it is about standing your own ground in who you are, being totally aware of your own individuality. You can see he's got two different shoes on here. And you don't need to protect yourself all the time. Sometimes we wear a lot of armor in order to keep ourselves safe. But this fellow is not wearing that armor because he knows that he can defend himself on a dime if he needs to. Our second card is the Reasonably Happily Ever After card. And this card has come up a lot in the last several days. And so it would seem that we are trying to work towards our reasonably happily ever after from a number of different directions. And so it could be that our happily ever after is being sort of assaulted from different quadrants, if you will. And in this particular case, perhaps we need to defend our reasonably happily ever after by being ourselves. So that can be in the face of criticism or some other kind of a challenge that has come up. But this is always the goal, the reasonably happily ever after. And it looks like today there's either some kind of resistance needed to outside pressures perhaps, or that we just really need to be ourselves. And the card that we are defending against looks like a card of loss. It is maybe more of a spiritual loss because this is the glass window on the other side of the Four of Swords, which we saw yesterday. Sometimes for me, this card is about getting some spiritual support, some kind of internal resource in order to protect you reasonably happily ever after. The physical needs are important, but there's also the spiritual needs that are important as well. And so there is a particular way in which you sort of replenish your spiritual self. And perhaps that is what's called for here in order to support your reasonably happily ever after. We are assaulted daily by all kinds of stuff. Our reasonably happily ever after sometimes has to be supported by doing something different. And so part of doing something different is having a good connection to Source, God, the holy, the other side, whatever you want to call that is. And so I would say that this spread encourages all of us to stay deeply connected to the holy as we try to navigate what's going on in the world and support our reasonably happily ever after. Blessings.